are we to be in a union where our compatriots owe it a duty of faith to kill us? We saw what happened with Gideon Akaruka. We saw what happened with Deborah in Sokoto. Looking at the map of Nigeria you see here, you see the section in yellow, 12 contiguous states. Simultaneously imposed Sharia in year 2000, meaning that they consulted. It was their state House of Assembly that did all of what was done. Their governors signed such things into those legislations into law and set up the Hisbah, the Sharia police that have been enforcing. They've never repealed any of those laws. The same way they pass them, they may tell you, oh, it's a joke. Sharia does not exist. But it exists in Kano, destroying people's business. It exists in Sokoto, destroying people's business. And so we come down to section 10. Let's listen very carefully. For those who may think that these are troublemakers who don't wish Nigeria well. Nigeria, the federation, is not what we are discussing. Nigeria, the federation died a long time ago. But the Nigeria, the unitary state, the monster that is now feeding on the blood of those is holding by force against the will. It is that Nigeria that has, the Nigeria that should have been our union was agreed to be a secular state. For which reason, Section 10 of the 1999 Constitution, as disputed as it is, Section 10 expressly forbids the adoption of any state religion by the government of the federation or that of any state. That's no state, the government of the federation or that of a state shall not adopt any religion as state religion. That's the entire provision of Section 10. And so when in year 2000, these 12 contiguous states that run from Sokoto Kebbi through Kano Jigawa to Borno in the uppermost north of Nigeria simultaneously imposed Sharia, adopted and imposed Sharia and began to implement it. They had seceded from the secular union of Nigeria as dictated by Section 10. That says they should not do such a thing. They should not adopt state religion. And so we were, ordinarily it would have been to go and quarrel with them. But we took a second look at it in this project. And we said that this is self-determination that they have exercised. And they went through due process. They consulted among themselves. That was why they could act simultaneously. They are contiguous. They were not picking one here, picking one there, so you don't know how they came about it. They are contiguous. They acted simultaneous. And so it must be that they consulted. But if anybody was in doubt, they went through the due process of their state assemblies passing the law. They also went through the due process of their governors signing and setting up the Hisbah. And so we interpreted it to mean that they had decided to secede from the secular union we were building together with them. They've left the Nigerian Union. They've now regrouped and are coming on a conquest mission, knowing that the title, having abandoned their own title deed in that respect, that the constitution by which Nigeria is convened and controlled and managed, they departed from that constitution by imposing Sharia. But they regrouped and they are here now overrunning, invading communities, killing people and bringing their the Fulani from Mauritania and Senegal and everywhere to come to share the land. They've shared it all the way to Port Harcourt. Look at the tiles on the ground where you are. And you will see the kind of formations in which they had, divided up the entire land all the way to Boni and Badagry in Lagos area, Boni in River. And so we are saying that it is that is the first practical rejection of the Nigerian Federation by that part. The campaign we are leading was then the response of, because these same people who have imposed Sharia have departed from a union of sanctity of life. Under Sharia, the adherents owe it a duty of faith to kill the infidel. Our insistence on democracy, is infuriating to them. Because in feudalism, you can't be talking democracy. Because the slaves cannot have equal rights with the master. The reason that people are flying flags, Odua nation, Biafra nation, Ijaw nation, at a time the ones who are doing Sharia had gone their way. So there are practical steps to leave the union. People are holding solemn assemblies and saying we can't proceed on this. None of those things will change. And the reason they are doing so, in case anybody did not understand it, apart from the Sharia belt that has seceded, the feudalist belt that has seceded, the other ones who subscribe to democracy, who subscribe to constitutionalism, they insist on a union of sanctity of life.
The Nigerian system, which they call federalism, which is actually unitary, they have a right to seek for self-determination. Whoever knew that USSR, the former Union of Soviet Socialist Republic, will break up into smithereens, into about 15 independent nations. Eritrea and Ethiopia used to be one country. Today they are two sovereign countries. Sudan and Southern Sudan used to be one country. Today they are separate countries. India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh used to be one country. Today they are separate countries. So you cannot say a people cannot seek for self-determination if the system under which they are presently being held together, being coupled together forcibly, is no longer working, or is now asphyxiating, or is hemorrhaging, or is suffocating. They can seek for self-determination. You need to do things holistically, using the same rule. Not rule of law for some people, and the rule of the thumb for others. It cannot work. A group is challenging your legitimacy, making your state look like a failed state. And one of the greatest indices of a failed state, apart from grinding poverty, which we're already in, being the poverty capital of the world, having overtaken India, apart from corruption, monumental corruption, which we're already in, being rated by Transparency International, under the Transparency Anti-Corruption Perception Index in 2022, as the number 149 out of 180 countries in the world, most corrupt, and the second most corrupt country in West Africa. Those ones are already there as indices of a failed or failing state. But one of the greatest indices of a failed state is when non-state actors like Boko Haram, like armed bandits, like kidnappers, begin to challenge the supremacy of legitimate government, dictating the pace in terms of violence, infliction of violence, in terms of control, of instruments, of coercion, of violence. That is a failed state. You don't need any other definition. And that is going on in Nigeria, where Boko Haram and armed bandits will attack the very institution of defense, the Nigerian Defense Academy, and take away some officers, killing one of them.
Hi my people, welcome back. I know see many of you now go don't watch and listen to what everybody will be seeing them speak for this video talk concerning the thing where we they go on. You know, say this Mike Ozekhome, they normally come on the talk truth, because within this kind of people need for Nigeria and be constitutional amendment and restructuring so that everybody go feel they enjoy this country. You know, say the way this country they even go safe, I know even sure say this country go feel come back to life again, because it seems like this country don't buy already, because you don't with some persons so say they know they feel well for this country, they try to say they want go best, then they know they give them that time to live because they want them to stay to stay so that they go fit dey use their resources, especially people from northerners. You know, say northern people now, people wey be see them wise way. You don't see obviously we understand them. You don't see how like obviously we know how they play their own game in terms of politics and many other things. No be only politics. Now northern people sabi play them, sabi play everything. Obviously none of now understand. If you carefully listen to what Michael Ozekhome talk, wetin talk be say make them do and the way in go favor everybody, so that all these northern people be see them they try enjoy one or two things from this country pass southern people will be saying I didn't get this country, made them feel like, make them go back, go do their own things. So be saying go feel make them enjoy too. You know, see if this country breaks up, everybody from the north they're going to suffer. That is why you see every time we see they talk about this thing, them they don't agree. This Michael Ozekhome and I'm the only person will be saying they come online and talk about new constitution and many other things, but nobody seems to listen to them because now within all our government they gain money from 9 that even this Kano will be saying they keep for detention for over how many years now. In the trial let own people go, now why they keep on for there, and they no say they leave on for the wahala go there, now why they still keep on for there. You get one certain time we say this same Michael Ozekhome represent and see for my screen come back on the talk, see if care is not taken, they pick my Kano for the detention when he did, because see they no one make Igbo people say they want to leave and Yoruba to leave, because they won't keep them to this country, they won't make them come this country so that they go feed the king their own thing will be said again. Although I would like make you watch the video to the end. I'll be right back. Thank you.
We're Boko Haram kidnappers. We kidnap some students. Miyetiala, you that are be owning up to killings, to attacks on innocent villagers, owning up to sending people. These are more terrorist inclined than IPOB. Adakaboro was killed for an idea. That did not stop the agitation in the Niger Delta. Kensaru Wiwa was murdered, judicial murder, for an idea. That did not stop the crisis in the Niger Delta. The Igbos that want self-determination, which has been spearheaded by IPOB, which I've already shown is a non-violent organization, and the man is kept in prison. Even with him being in prison, the people obey his orders and his instructions. If he say don't go to the market, all the markets in the southeast are shut down. If he say you may now go, they all go. No government can give those directives, and they are obeyed. It shows that that young man in detention is not compelling or forcing the people. Rather, the people are merely galvanized for an idea that they believe in. Everybody knows that the average Igbo man is independent-minded and is highly Republican. That you cannot force things on him or her. But for them to follow that man in incarceration, that shows that it is an idea that is fighting for, that they believe in, trying to say that we are not that dot in the large cycle. Some people blamed, or some people did not think Ahmadu Bello did well when he said in 1942, during the debate in the Hansa, that Nigeria was a piece of historical mistake. I wrote in this book, written in 1948, also saw Nigeria as a piece of geographical expression. That there are no Nigerians in the true sense that there are Irish people, or the Scottish people, or the English people. He was right. That was why when Zeke, during the independence agitation, told Ahmadu Bello, the Sardauna of Sokoto, who later became the premier of Northern Region, while Zeke became premier of Eastern Region. He said, Zeke told Ahmadu Bello, we should forget our differences. Ahmadu Bello gave him the right answer. He said, no. Nnamdi Azikiwe, we should not forget our differences. We should recognize our differences. That you are an Igbo man and a Christian. That I'm a Fulani and a Muslim. But that these are differences, having recognized them, we should now decide to work towards the same goal. It's called the bull's eye. Are we doing that today? And that we are actually following, ironically and unfortunately, the social theory of Claude Ake and other eggheads like him, that Nigeria is operating a disarticulate economy where we produce what we do not consume and consume what we do not produce. Can't Mr. President see that? Nigeria is not.
If there's any senior advocate in Nigeria that I so much respect and love, is SAN Mike Ozekhome. The man has come out to say we cannot be in union with Fulani leaders. People who have been killing us, there is no two way about it. We cannot live with them. Everybody is now upset with the way things is currently going in Nigeria, just because of one tribe. A particular tribe, the Fulani, has been on the spot for years, aliving and disaliving people. And now we pretend as if all is well. We pretend as if nothing is happening. We pretend as if we are united. Not the only we go to come out, they speak about this Fulani men. Everybody has right to come out and condemn it. The pastors, the imam, the affairs, the travelers. You don't need to be a one person in society to condemn Fulani, because now the Fulanis are saying we could cohabit. They are saying we should live in peace with one another. That when we live in peace, this union would work. What will make the union work? How can the union work? The same you will move your car from Kano down to far away, he's saying, you're eating people crops, eating people farmland, and when they complain, you buy them. Is that how the man want to work? Is that how we want to resolve this conflict? And yet, when those who are supposed to prosecute them, they will say, na communal clash, na communal clash, na communal. Thank God for my Ozekhome, who has come to say that all these things in the court of law, it is not communal clash. The judiciary are just scared to sentence these so-called Fulanis. Sentence them. And yet, you want every Nigeria to believe or to have faith in one Nigeria. You want me as a Nigerian to believe that the Fulanis are my brothers, they are my sisters. I am not saying every Fulani are bad, but the bad ones, we have much populated bad ones than the good ones who mean well for this country and for this contraption. Not be by force to live for this marriage. No, it is not a do or die affair that the name Nigeria should stand. As we see that even Palestine want to exit themselves from Israel, and Barcelona and Catalina is also pushing for a referendum to exit Spain. But anyone that says they want to exit the country, the Fulanis will be upset with it. The Fulanis would be very, very upset with it because of their evil agenda, because of their plan. if there is no ulterior motive, these people will not be pushing this agenda. These people will not be pushing this narrative for this union to work. They forgot that we've been patching this so-called Nigeria that can never work, and yet some people carry out for head. Say they believe in one Nigeria. How has one Nigeria benefited me and you? What do me I don't gain for one Nigeria? The so-called Nigeria, only what we've gained, it has caused us more pain, agony, sorrow, pain. And yet, we have leaders who cannot come out and call a spade a spade. Is the Fulani caliphate bigger than the Nigerian institution? Is the Fulani caliphate bigger than the office of the president of Nigeria? Is the Fulani caliphate bigger than the office of the Senate president? Or is the Fulani caliphate bigger than the office of the House of Rep Speaker, of the Speaker of the House of Rep? And yet, people have been slaughtered like ants. People have been butchered like rams. And now, there is no solution to it. Every day, the country keeps bleeding. The country keeps bleeding under the watch of a Sultan president. The country keeps bleeding under the watch of the Fulani controlled people in government. And yet,